Alright, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kalaya coming at you with a quick lesson. Prior to getting started, I'd like to give all glory, honors, and prayers unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to hopefully elect. Alright, and today's lesson going to be predicated on how, Esau Edom, he won't get away with putting his hands on the Lord's people, man. Alright? Because contrary to popular belief, you have people in the world that don't believe that there's a recompense, for putting us not just only chattel slavery, okay, but also corporate slavery, man. Each and every day, you wake up, you go out to your 9 to 5, and even if it's not a 9 to 5, you work for yourself, you're still using this devil's currency, going by his system, under his laws, you're being oppressed. Okay, contrary to whatever it is that you believe, you're, a so-called sovereign citizen, right? Moors, Masons, different things of that nature. Hey, none of that matters, right? Because you have to use this devil money, and you also have to abide by this devil's rules, okay, in some sort of fashion, right? But nevertheless, that's not the point I was trying to get at. But it had to be said. But I'm gonna get off into it with the book of Zechariah. All right. The first chapter in the 15th verse, right? And it reads, "And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction." All right, so these devils, basically forward the affliction, put us into corporate slavery, man. All right, and we was only supposed to be pretty much put into slavery as our punishment, okay, which was stated in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right? We were supposed to be under this devil for a certain period of time, okay, but he forwarded it, meaning he went beyond, okay, what the Lord had intended for the nation of Israel, as a punishment. Okay, he took matters into his own hands, right? Kept us as slaves, you see? Took us away from our heritage, took us away from our customs, okay? And that was ultimately the goal, to basically make us go off, right? Us to sin in everything in which we do. And he's accomplished that, man. But the remnant, are not under that anymore, man. Yes, we still live here, but like the scriptures tell you, the truth shall set you free, man. We've been set free from this devil's doctrines. We've returned back unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And we're sitting here preaching, and believing on Yahweh Shai, waiting on our deliverance. Okay, but I'll read it again. Zechariah 1:15. "And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but yet a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction." These devils are at ease, man. The scripture tell you that Esau Edom thought that the Lord was with him, okay, when he was doing everything that he was doing to us, okay, oppressing us. You see? But let me get this, the book of Job. Not Job, Salakia, Joel. The book of Joel, the 2nd chapter. And Salakia, not the 2nd chapter, the 3rd chapter. In verse 1, and I'll skip around a bit. It reads, "For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather the nations, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down to the valley of Yehoshaphat, and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Right? So the things in which you see happening as far as World War III is concerned, and basically prophecy in a whole, but specifically it's talking right here about Armageddon, all right? The Armageddon, so to say. It's like you're getting jumbled up on my words. But nevertheless, all right, that's the recompense, okay? That these nations, chiefly starting with Esau, Edom, have to go through. You see? I'm gonna jump down to let's see. Let's see where I'm gonna jump down to. I'm gonna jump to 19, man. All right. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. All right. Hey, so ultimately the Lord is going to destroy this place. All right. He's going to destroy this prison, man. Okay. This land, all right, America, was nothing more than a prison. Okay. A prison cell for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. We done our time. According to Lamentations, the 4th chapter, which y'all get that. All right. Lamentations 4:21, and it reads, Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. This is the point. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Right, so as this captivity is crumbling, okay, a transition of power, all right, is taking place on the face of the planet Earth. All right, power is going from Esau, Edom, the wicked, all right, unto Israel, man. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, the Lord is going to give us our opportunity to rule in righteousness. You see? What else I had? Zechariah, the 2nd chapter. Where was I? Verse 7. All right, Zechariah 2 and 7. All right, and the header for this particular chapter is the Lord will choose Jerusalem. All right, because he's always been for Jerusalem, man. Okay, the Lord has always dealt with Jerusalem. Okay, it says, Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. All right. And when you go into that word, apple of the eye, it goes into a pupil, man. All right. I'm pretty sure, you know, when Jake was young, I've done it. I've heard other people do it. And also when brothers explain this and go into that word, apple of the eye. All right, brothers explain it too, man. You can touch all of the white around your eye, right? The white part. But if you touch the pupil, that's where the discomfort come from. All right, the irritation. And that's what basically, all right, these devils have done. They've touched the pupil of the Lord's eye, man. All right, when you go into it, it goes in the pupil. It says, verse 9, For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. You see? So though we have been placed in this punishment, right? The Lord is ultimately gonna come back and save us. And that's gonna roll me right into one of my favorite books. All right, Baruch, the 4th chapter, in verse 23. It says, For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but Yahweh will give you unto me again with joy and gladness forever. All right. Yeah, the departure of Israel, okay, from the Lord, that wasn't, something fun. okay? But it was necessary and it had to be done ultimately for the Lord's plan, right? The Lord have a grand scheme of things, all right? When you look at it in a spiritual lens, you see, first, you know, the Lord let this devil rule to show us how not to rule, okay? Show us that we, you know, the law, statutes, and commandments are in place for a reason, all right? And the elect have grasped that concept, you see? So when it's time for us to rule in our kingdom, we have had the perfect, how could I say, example of what not to do, you see? It says, verse 24, like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. So all of these different nations have seen this devil and have participated in some sort of way, some form of fashion. They have participated in the downfall of our people, man, of the Lord's people. Okay, and they're gonna see it with their very eyes, all right, how the Lord is about to bring us back into a higher stature, man, all right, the top people on the face of the planet Earth, all right. All of this is good, but I want to jump down to verse 27 because you can actually just go from there and into the whole chapter, but I want to basically harp on a point of, you know, the Lord, he hasn't forgotten about us, man. All right, Baruch chapter 4 and 27, and it reads, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Lord, which that's what we doing. All right, these video epistles going out on the highways and byways is a form of crime, man. Ezekiel 9 and 4, okay, those that sigh and cry for the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. You see, it says, for ye shall be remembered of him, and Slakia, read it over. For ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. You see? Hey, the Lord gonna remember us, man. Which he has. He's given us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is ultimately a way back unto him, man. A way back under his wing and a way back to deliverance. All right? 2/3 of the nation of Israel won't receive that. Okay, which in the book of Romans it tell you that, you know, all of Israel shall be saved, but that's talking about all of us as a whole. All right, some 2/3 will die on this side. Okay, Zechariah the what is that, 8th chapter and 13th verse. You see, but then you have 1/3 that's gonna be what, saved, man. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna jump down to verse 30. It says, take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave you that name will comfort thee, which we have been. All right, this very video epistle should be comforting, all right, knowing that the Lord has remembered us and given us a way back, all right, and ultimately he's going to let us recompense our enemies, you see, with the same things. Really, it'll tell you double, man. All right, we're going to put you know, double the captivity they did to us, man, on them in the kingdom of heaven. It says, miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. All right, talking about America, man. All right, and also these other nations, you see, but chiefly America. All right. Let's see. And that'll be it for that. I didn't want to go too long. Let's see. Ezekiel, the 25th chapter. We just went over this too. The 25th chapter and the 12th verse, which the subtitle is Judgment on Edom. It says, thus said the Lord Yahweh power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them, right? Because he's ultimately upset for what? The blessing, man, all right? It says, verse 13, therefore thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. Which Teman and Dedan are just other names for, you know, certain sectors of Edom, man. All right, certain tribes of Edomites, man. All right, it says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord. You see, so there's a great judgment for placing your hands on the Israelites. All right, we are not some we're not. Scriptures tell you what is Israel a homeborn? Is Judah a homeborn slave? All right, no, we're not homeborn slaves, man. All right, we're royalty. Okay, though it may not look like it now, in the kingdom of heaven, that will be shown to the 144th power, man. Okay, but nevertheless, the point has been made. Obviously, this whole, you know, thing of ours is surrounded by the recompense, all right, of our captors. Okay, but I just wanted to get a few of them and share my thoughts, man. All right, so before I get out of here, I'd like to give all glory, honors, and prayers unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Ophi elect. Shalom and the Baba Ball.